Hi guys, so since you're here, I suspect you already know that I just got home from what turned out to be a 7-week cross-country road trip all by myself. That being said, I have a few tips for if you want to go on your own massive self-discovery road trip. These are going to be practical tips though, not emotional tips, because that's something you have to figure out for yourself. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. 1, before you even go, packing. Some people are going to tell you to pack light. Some people are going to tell you pack a little bit of everything so that you're prepared. My advice is not to worry about it so much. If you have something, you will use it. If you don't have something, you will probably make do without. So make sure you pack the essentials, clothes, underwear, coffee maker, if you're me, and don't worry so much about the other stuff. If you are going to pack refrigerated food though, here's tip number 2, use a hard cooler like plastic or even that cheap styrofoam thing you get from Walmart, which is what I ended up using. Cloth coolers are only intended to be insulated bags for a couple of hours and will leak over everything you own if you try to put 10 pounds of ice in them. Just a tip. I don't know anyone who would do that. Tip number 3, plan ahead. Probably sounds like really silly advice coming from someone who day to day did not always know where they were sleeping that night. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a different kind of prepared. A prepare for the worst case scenario kind of prepared. That being said, if you're staying at multiple hotels, especially cheap ones, shower when you get to a nice hotel so that you don't have to shower when you're in a $20 hostel, for instance. Also, get gas when you're at a half tank instead of being forced to pay $5 a gallon when your light is on and you're on the back roads in the middle of nowhere. Tip number 4, and this is going to go against everything your parents ever taught you, but here it is. Talk to strangers. I mean it. Talk to strangers. Ask the locals what they recommend you do while you're in their town. They know. That's the only way I found out about the City Museum in St. Louis. And also in St. Louis, the Shameless Grounds coffee shop. I also think part of the joy of traveling, and especially of traveling alone, is the people that you meet, and you don't get to meet anyone if you don't talk to strangers. You also, as someone pointed out at a bar in Illinois, can't order beer if you don't talk to strangers. So, yeah, there you go. What other logic do you need? Also, especially if you have an older car like me, and this is tip number 5, check your oil regularly, and regularly is going to change based on how much you're driving. So if you're only driving 2 or 3 hours a day, like I was for most of the trip, you really only need to check it every other day or every third day. But when you get to the point that you're driving 6 to 8 hours a day, check it every day. And here's a bonus, because this one is not practical, this one is emotional, and I said I wouldn't, but I will. Here's another tip. Do it. Go. Enjoy the journey. Have fun. Psst. Psst. Patreon subscribers. This is for you. Pay attention. Thank you so much for supporting me in this particular journey. I so appreciate it. That being said, if you just subscribed for the postcard updates from the 6-week, turned out to be 7-week road trip, feel free to unsubscribe. I am not going to judge you at all. That being said, I am going to continue to give you blog updates 24 hours early and send postcards from the trips I do go on, which in April is going to be Florida. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep telling stories, both made-up ones and all of the ones I've collected from the 7 weeks I was on the road. I hope you continue to join me.